welcome back to my channel. My name is Nebulas Allen. I'm an indie author and co-blogger at The Illiterates. Today, I thought that I would talk to you about my writing routine. I've seen a few of these videos on AuthorTube, and I feel like they're a great way for writers or aspiring writers to learn some new habits or pick up some fresh techniques to keep them motivated. The technique that I'm going to talk to you about today has helped me to successfully publish 3 books in the past 6 months. Before I jump into this video, I do think that it's important to touch upon the fact that we all go through highs and lows with our productivity. I am no different than anyone else in that regard. I've had months where I've averaged 5,000 words a day, and then I've had months where I'm lucky if I get 500 in. For me, unsurprisingly, those drops in productivity coincide with when I fall out of my routine. Humans are creatures of habit. There are all sorts of studies that have found a direct correlation between scheduling and productivity. And while one routine might not work for everyone, it might work for someone else. Today, I just want to go over the routine that is currently working for me. I start my days off pretty early. Usually, I'm out of bed by 5:30. I've always been an early riser, and so is my husband. Right now, we're not waking up to an alarm. The windows in our bedroom face east. And up here in the hills of New England, it starts to get light around 5. I talked a little bit in my last video about moving my desk out of my bedroom to help me with the work-life divide that I'd been struggling with. And now, instead of going to work first thing, I settle down to drink my coffee and wake up. I usually spend this time catching up on social media. Twitter and Facebook are 2 platforms that you'll hardly ever find me on. They haven't had the best impact on my mood or mental health in the past. So now I stick with Instagram and Pinterest. After I've caught up on the latest posts from my friends, I like to get ready for the day. I know this sounds like a silly thing to do since we're all working from home and no one's going to see us, but it helps me get into the proper mindset. And I found that changing from pajamas into slightly less comfortable clothing is a great way to separate casual time from working time. In an effort to establish a solid routine, I sit down at my desk about 7 every single morning, and I write out my checklist for the day. Yes, I know checklists are boring as hell, but the results are proven. NASA uses them to launch spacecraft into outer space. Heart surgeons have implemented them to save lives. And like Matt D'Avella said, if it works for them, there's got to be some benefit for the rest of us. For me, personally, I have found that they focus my intent for the day. And I get a huge sense of accomplishment for every single box that I check off that list. Most days I have a core group of tasks that I want to get through. The first thing is always my word count. That's the first check mark I put down on there. Next, there's usually some sort of mix of other work jobs and chores that I want to do around the house. Then I'll add in more specific tasks that I need to get done that day, whether it be writing a script for a YouTube video or posting a review on The Illiterates. Once my checklist for the day is written out, I like to log into my computer and pull up the stats from the day before. Most indie authors have to wear a variety of hats, and one of those is marketing. Right now, I'm running my own ads and social media campaigns, and I'm following the advice of a lot of people who have done it before me. Some of their advice has worked, some of it has not, and right now I'm fine-tuning my own process down to the platforms and the campaigns that result in the most sales. This, like my checklists, can be a tedious task, and it's why I get it done first thing in the morning. It's something mindless to kind of scroll through while the caffeine kicks in. While this early morning routine might seem pretty regulated to some people, it's actually the most free form out of my day. After I'm finished with that, I take a break to make myself some breakfast. Most mornings that consists of oatmeal. I know you've probably seen them all over YouTube and daily routine videos, but there's a reason for that. Oats are incredibly nutritious, they help reduce cholesterol, regulate blood sugar, and are great for digestive health. I find that they keep me full for most of the morning. And then when I eat them for breakfast, I tend to stay motivated and fuller for longer, with less cravings to distract me. Once I'm done with breakfast, it's time to really get down to work. Right now, I'm following the Pomodoro technique. If you're not familiar with it, the gist is that you set timers for yourself. I set the standard 25-minute timer, which means that I work for 25 minutes and then I break for 5. Repeat. Every 3 to 5 cycles, I break for a longer period of time, closer to 30 minutes, and that's usually when I'll take a lunch or do a larger chore around my house. This technique has boosted my productivity more than any other scheduling routine that I have tried. I find that when I'm working against a timer, I always feel like I'm racing myself. So instead of scrolling on my phone or checking a website or doing something unproductive in those 25 minutes, I know that there is a timer at the end, and so I try to get as much work done as I can before it goes off. Another benefit of this technique is that writing is an incredibly sedentary job, and getting up every 25 minutes keeps me moving, ensures I get my daily steps in, and has helped me keep my house clean. I like to use these breaks to work through some of the items on my daily checklist. So I'll work for 25 minutes, then I'll do a little bit of laundry. I'll work for 25 minutes, I'll turn on our Roomba. I'll work for 25 minutes, I'll go water my plants. And so on for the rest of the day. Since Snowed In is now published, that leaves me free to focus on my next book. That is going to be Volume 2 of The Lunatics. This is a fast-paced, campy, paranormal meets urban fantasy series set in Boston, and it centers around a pack of shifters. I've already outlined the entire book, and right now I'm just working on fleshing out the individual chapters. I like to stay at least several chapters ahead of whichever chapter is being posted in any given week. So last week I posted chapter 1. Really, in the book, as far as writing it goes, I'm up to chapter 5. Again, the Pomodoro technique has helped me out in this regard. It's kept me motivated to want to sit down and write every day, even when the news is awful and all I want to do is wallow. I've read a lot of studies that have touted a 6-hour workday as being ideal. There have been clinical trials that have proven that it helps prioritize more effectively, it reduces interruptions in your day, and it helps curb burnout. So I decided to adopt this method for obvious reasons. Pairing the Pomodoro technique with a 6-hour workday has proven to be my sweet spot. I might not max out at 5,000 words. I think right now I'm closer to about 2,500 on average, but I found that the quality of my writing is better overall, and I'm having to do less back editing when I'm done, which not only saves me time, but when it comes to publishing and going to my editor, that will save me money too. On a typical day, I'm done by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 at most, depending on how long I push my breaks for. At that time, I get up from my desk, I go upstairs, and I change from my work clothes into my workout clothes, which usually feature a tank top with some sort of witty play on words. I've been an athlete most of my life, whether that be soccer, long-distance running, or martial arts when I was in the military. Before the pandemic hit, I was in the gym 5 days a week with a focus on lifting, and I was really starting to feel strong. I had a bit of a slump when the apocalypse kicked off, as I'm sure a lot of people did, but now I'm settling back into a regular workout routine. I found that the more variation I add in, the more motivated I am to remain active. So I run 2 days a week, I do yoga 2 days a week, and I dedicate 2 days to some sort of weightlifting. If you're looking for a free app, I definitely suggest the Nike Training app. This video is in no way sponsored by them. I just really like the app and the way that they structure their programs. They're easy to follow, and you can choose your difficulty from easy to challenging. Working out, for me, is a lot like meditation. It de-stresses me, clears my mind of all the junk cluttering it up, and on the days that I run, I find that I'm able to work through problems in my writing. You'd be amazed at how many plot holes have jumped out at me after I pass the 4-mile mark. Once I'm done with my workout, I like to treat myself in some way. Lately, that means experimenting with our afternoon cups of coffee. I don't know about you, but I really miss going to fancy coffee shops and ordering elaborate caffeinated beverages. So I decided to learn how to make them for myself. Today, I made iced vanilla lattes with a cold brew I whipped up yesterday. I added half a teaspoon of vanilla and a tablespoon of agave extract to the cream, then used our Ninja Coffee Maker's attachment to froth it. Afternoons are the one part of my day that I do not schedule. I like to keep my free time as free as possible. Some days I read, other days I'll hop on Duolingo and I'll catch up with a bit of German.
Die Kinder trinken Wasser.
Die Kinder trinken Wasser. The children are drinking water. Then there are other days when it's a struggle just to get through my morning routine, and all I want to do when I'm done is sit down in my bed and watch TV for 3 hours straight. I call it the blarg. And when the blarg days hit, I don't fight the blarg. I embrace the blarg. I will say that with my current routine, I'm having less of these days. I am a very detail and goal-oriented person. So at the end of the day, when I look down and I see all of the boxes on my list checked off, I have a huge sense of accomplishment. It makes me excited to get up the next morning and crush another workday. Thank you all for watching. Like I said earlier, this is just my current routine that's been working out really well for me. If you have any other tips and techniques that you think that I should check out, go ahead and leave a comment down below and I'll do that. I hope that you were able to get something from this video, whether it be a new habit or just get motivated to sit down and write. If you did like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Thanks again. Bye.